Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Five Deep, a podcast where five podcasters from around the world get together each week to achieve their goals through accountability. Well, as you can see, currently we're four deep, right? Harmony, I think she's cleaning something or doing something somewhere. She'll be here very, very soon. So, but guys, it's somebody's birthday today. Actually, it's some people's birthday today. Lee, happy birthday, man. How you doing?
Fucking unstoppable.
Unstoppable. 40 years young today. Congratulations.
Yeah,
man. How you feeling?
Fucking incredible. Life's just beginning.
Well, 49 is the new 59. So, Rodney, how are we doing, my friend? Happy birthday to you as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing good, man. You know, a little humor. I'm feeling good. I must admit, I'm feeling good. Feeling good to be here, you know.
And tomorrow, it's my freaking birthday, 45 years tomorrow, which is a little bit concerning because I've been taking the mickey at my missus because she's a little bit older than me. And I've always been saying that she's touching 50 and I'm closer to 40. But tomorrow, I'm in that bracket where I'm touching 50. And on this episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about age. We're going to be talking about, you know, how age affects our life. How do you feel about being another year older? Do you feel your age? Do you look your age? We're going to be talking about age there on this episode. But before we do, we've missed somebody out. We got Las Spartacus down there in the International Space Station. Good evening, Las Spartacus.
Hello from the International Space Station. Space. Up here, time is a little bit slower. So
how old are you then?
I was
going to go somewhere and then my mind just went, that's all part of age. I am 45 years old. I feel like I'm 90. So 45 is the new 95 to me.
How old's your beard?
Let's see. How old is my beard? Maybe about 12 years old.
Cool.
I couldn't grow a beard till I was like maybe 30, 33 or so.
You was 30?
Yep.
Fucking hell. I started growing a beard when I was 12.
Not for me.
I started growing a back beard when I was 15.
Oh yeah. Now I'm like a fucking loofah sponge or whatever, a loofah brush on my back. I got all the hair. The ladies don't complain, so
it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, look, we'll have a little bit of man time here now because you know, Lady Harmony isn't here. Just want to say hiya, Lisa. Thank you very much. I presume HBD stands for Happy Birthday, dudes, or something like that. Does it? Is that
just Happy Birthday?
Right. No, it's hot bod. It means hot bod dads.
Oh, right. Fair enough, Lee. Well, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about us guys here in a second, but I just want to say thank you to all of you that have joined us this evening, or one of you so far. Come on in, say hello, wish us happy birthday, be part of the group. If you are new to this, if it's the first time you started following us on YouTube, like and subscribe, press that button, that bell thing, and it will chime every time we're on and all that sort of shit. I don't really understand it, to be honest with you. If you're listening to the podcast for the first time, like and subscribe, share the link to the world, get everybody introduced to the official 5 Deep. Yeah, guys, just want to say, have you noticed, right, as you get a bit older, right, hair starts sprouting in places and disappearing in others, right? Lee, where have you found the most interesting place for hair to sprout out of?
I'm getting a lot more hair inside my ear, but the weirdest place to see it is not inside, it's actually on the outside of my ear. So I'll just get like a random hair sprig up at the top there.
What, on the top bit or actually on the lobe?
On the top bit, right on the outside. It's a nightmare. And then I'm obviously trying to tweeze them out. And the eyebrows go a bit crazy as well.
Oh, they become like nettles, don't they? They become like fucking big brambles on top of your eyes, don't they?
It's like half an acre of hawthorn on your fucking forehead.
I've noticed it. Down here in Cornwall, a lot of the men start getting them sprouting on the cheeks up here. I don't know what that's all about. I mean, how do you start getting hair up here? And I've seen it they get them on the nose as well, some of the Cornish men. I hope I don't go down that route. What about you there, Howard? Have you got any unusual places where hair's sprouting from?
My asshole. I don't know when that occurred, but yeah.
And dare I need to ask you there, Rodney?
The question is, where is hair not growing out of at this point? It's coming out everywhere. I get them on the lobe. I didn't really check on the asshole just yet. I'm not sure I want to check that just yet, but
And what about with you two guys? Because obviously you shave your head. You know, is there a reason why you shave your head? I mean, I know you look cool by shaving your head, but is it because you started going a bit bald on top, or just because you can't be asked to have a haircut?
I started shaving before I started losing my hairline, but now it's official. Like, yeah, the hairline is gone. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to see my hair starting to grow back here.
It's a big sweep over.
Yeah, so nobody want to see that. So.
What about you, Lee? If you left your hair to grow, would you have a Terry Nutkins cut?
Yeah. There's a big patch at the back there that's going really thin. And I don't want to be one of those blokes that's known for, oh my God, he's desperate to hold on to his youth.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, fuck that shit, man. Just roll with it, because that's what life's about. So every 2 days it comes off.
Why do you think that us guys then hold on to every last bit of hair that we can on top of our heads? Because I mean, I've said as soon as I start going bald, then it's coming off. And I'm quite lucky because my granddad, when he passed away, he had a right thick of lot of hair. Actually, my gran started losing a hair before he did, kind of thing, you know. So hopefully I'm going to be all right. But you know, why do you think us men hold on to every little strand of hair and have those sweep overs and when they're going bald? Because I mean, it looks stupid. I mean, and it kind of ties into what we're talking about tonight about age and holding on to our youth and stuff. You know, did it bother you? Does it bother you at all, Howard? If you started going bald, would you shave it all off or would you cover it up?
Shave it all off. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's what's the term? I don't think it's really vanity, but maybe it's what you said. Maybe it's like, oh my gosh, I must be getting older. I'm losing my hair. But I've had friends who've started losing their hair like in their 20s, and they started. So I don't know.
There we are. Because it's our birthday, guys. Right? Who's got a drink? I've got a can of drink here. What's everybody supping today? I've got a can of non-alcoholic beer. You can't really see it because I got it on blur mode, so you can't really see the can. But are we all supping beer or something like that? Or what are you guys drinking? Lee,
you really want to know what I'm drinking?
Go on, Howard. What are you drinking, man?
Well, I'm almost finished, but in fact, it's some Howard's Blend plant-based protein powder. So I'm getting my 20 grams of protein per serving at howardsblend.com.
Does that like make you a bit younger at all, Howard? Does that make you feel younger at all?
Oh yeah. Some of Howard's Blend always makes everybody feel younger. The ladies, especially if the ladies want to be younger, have some Howard's Blend up in you.
Back. Lee, what about you? You got a cup of coffee there, mate? Have you? Or are you choking on it?
I have. I got a cup of hearty coffee, mate. Well deserved, well needed.
What about you, man?
It's just some water with my pinky up, so it's tasty water.
Cool. Well, anyway, guys, we're going to go into our thoughts of the week. You know, what's your highs and lows been this week, Lee?
High of the week is celebrating my birthday with the people that I love the most around me. Low of the week is the recovery process that I have to go through after being on a stag weekend, which was a little bit too rough.
So you're feeling a bit delicate today, are you? And that's a bit shit, isn't it, to be fair, because you've been away on a stag do. I suppose, did you celebrate your birthday on the stag do, did you?
No, I kept it quite quiet, to be honest, because I didn't want to go too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stag do was enough, man. I mean, I feel all right. I'm just tired, really tired.
Yeah, I think when you get to about 40 there, Rodney, did you find that the hangovers started kicking you in the bollocks a bit harder?
30, I want to say 35. I had a huge hangover. I went to like a bachelor limo. A friend of mine invited me got this limo. We went to New York and went to you know who Larry Flint is? No.
Any relation to the Flintstones?
No. You never heard of the magazine Hustler?
Is that jazz mag?
I don't know if it's jazz. I guess it depends on what you consider jazz.
No, I haven't, mate. Sorry. I
Well,
think
anyway,
I have, but I couldn't tell you what it was about or
you ever
anything.
seen the movie The People versus Larry Flint? Of course.
No.
You did. All right, never mind. Well, he was Penthouse. His magazine was Penthouse, right?
Right, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I bet you did. But yeah, so he has a club, a gentleman's club in New York, and I went there, and I got drunk. And funny thing about New York is it was like 4 a.m. I'm got my head hanging out of limo, throwing up all over the place. And New York is just, they don't care. There's people just walking by. Nobody stopped to ask if I needed some help or anything like that. But I remember being sick for a week after that. I felt like shit for a whole week. And that's when I knew, like, yeah, okay, you need to sip a little bit instead of drinking.
Yeah. What about you, Howard? When was the last time you got drunk?
Oh man, like I would say 7 years ago. And if I describe what I did, we would get banned off of YouTube. I promise. So no, I'm not going to that.
What about your week, mate? What's your highs and lows of the week, Ben? Is there anything that stood out to you at all?
Highs would be, just like I said, I think a couple weeks ago, just spending time with my son. Took him to the park, had a great time. He was scared to go down the slide, and I kept saying, "Come on, you can do it. There's nothing. You're scared, but get over that fear." Eventually, he sat in my lap, and we went down the slide, and then we had to go down it like another 20 times before he was satisfied. So I knew once he went down the slide, he'd be happy doing it. That's the high. The low, which is not really a low, is just now I'm getting more of a clearer picture of how much it's going to cost for the supplements. But that's a good thing. I expected to pay the money, but it's a good thing, meaning I'm making progress towards it. So I guess I can count that as a low.
Was it as bad as what you thought it was going to be?
No,
it's not. Cool.
Thankfully, fingers crossed. Thankfully,
can you get twice as much?
I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm leery of doing that because, as I said. As I mentioned before, I don't want to get too much because there is an expiration date, and I don't want to get stuck with hundreds of units that I legally can't sell, and then I'm out of luck. So I'd rather have a little bit too little, and then sell out, and then I can then know what the demand is, and then I can gauge off the reorder off of that.
Cool. As long as it's starting to work now, mate. Anyway, you're getting a lot of results come back, and you're interacting with people, so that's awesome. What about you there, Rodney? What's your high and low of the week been, mate?
I had a good week working out and stuff, but like I don't know. I think the high was just I was excited about the fact that I was getting a year older. Normally I'm pretty like the last few years I've been pretty just not really wanting to even celebrate. But I felt a little bit more celebratory this time around, and then I was like, you know what? If I make it to 50, I think I'll actually celebrate. So I was really excited. I had a really, you know what I'm saying? Like my mind was pretty good. I was low energy. I started off with low energy, but it turned up pretty high, and I'm feeling good. So, and the low of the week was like I started off really just kind of with low energy. I just felt a little off. But as the week picked up, like I said, as I started to embrace the fact that I'm still here, like, enjoy your life. Saying stop being miserable and then making other people miserable around you. It's an attitude just brings everybody down. So,
I mean, I look at it like, I'm 45 tomorrow. I do look at life now as a celebration. People said to me, do you, oh my God, you're 45. Yeah, but it's something to celebrate, isn't it? Because in my community, the people around me, there's lots of people that have taken their own lives. There's lots of people that have passed away. There's lots of people that are in a lot worse situation that I'm in. And, okay, I'm a bit overweight, but other than that, touch wood, I'm still fucking ticking on. I'm still, I've still got my own hair, going a bit grey around the gizzard and stuff like that. But, it's only little minor things, that, isn't it?
Listen, what am I? Shit, I'm fully grey, man. Nothing wrong with that.
You could actually stand on your head and it would look like you've got hair. Anyway. My high of the week is that I finally, and you can as well, Howard. You can, and you, Lee. You can all stand on your head and look like you got hair. my high of the week was that I managed to smash out episode 205 of the Mark Jeffrey show. You know, you've all heard me say that I've been struggling a little bit this year, not having the energy and not really wanting to do any podcasting. And I got an episode out there. I interviewed Harmony on, when was it, Wednesday. We had a chat for an hour and a half. I really enjoyed it. Went out live on YouTube, and I managed to gain 4 new subscribers from it. And we had about 18 people view, which is absolutely fantastic. And you know, small steps, guys, small steps. So I'm really pleased with that, how that's all going. The low, I would say, is I've got 2 lows actually. Getting the diet back on fucking track again. I've decided that I'm going to leave it till Wednesday, because what's the point in doing it tomorrow? Because it's my birthday, so I'm going to be eating loads of shit and crap tomorrow. Getting back on track and just starting to feel, because you know what it's like when you start eating rubbish and you're filling your body with crap, you just feel tired all the time and lethargic, and just like, oh, I can't be arsed. And, you know, I really do love the high of feeling, you know, like I'm eating decent food. Harmony goes on about, you know, eating decent, healthy food, and she's always putting pictures up of healthy food. It makes hell of a difference, doesn't it? So I would say for me that would be my high. That my low would be my diet, and another low as well. And it's also kind of a high. Is I'm car hunting. I'm looking for a new car, and I just really don't know what the freaking hell I want. Then I work out what car I want, and then I can't find the color that I want, or I can't find the right car with the mileage and the money. So it is really nice to be able to be in a situation where you're going out and buying a new car, but at the same time, Lee, it's a fucking pain in the ass, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And as we get older, we want what we want. We don't just make do. So, like, if you find the perfect car but it's the wrong color, it's just all wrong. Wrong on all angles, like a mitre.
I was trying to explain this to Nikki the other day. You know, yesterday she was saying, "Yeah, but you know, what's the matter? What's the matter with it? Like, you know, what's the matter with that car?" And I'm like, "It's white." Well, what's the matter with white? Good evening there, Harmony. She is going to be with us in a minute. She's just putting that. She just put that. See you shortly. So get your ass in gear, Harmony. We're having a party, and Lee wants to go off early because he's getting old now and he can't hack this staying up late. So he wants you to come in so that you can give him that flash that he was promising him. And but yeah, you know, as you get older, and we're talking about age today. As you get older, you can't seem to you get a little bit more picky on little things like that, don't you? I mean, once upon a time, you know, you go out and you get your Ford XR2i or something. You wouldn't matter what color it came in, as long as you got that fast sports car that you didn't really like, but it was the fact that it was a status symbol. Now, as you get older, I think, you know, you start looking at the extras, don't you?
I don't, man. I'm as I'm getting older, I'm more whatever. You know what I'm saying? The car is to get me from one place to another. I do have preferences, but I really just don't, you know, it doesn't bother me. You know, those type of things don't bother me as much.
All right, then. So what have you noticed then about, you know, you're 49 now. What have you noticed that has changed in your life as you've got older? You know, when we're younger, we see these guys that are 49, 40 and 45. We all consider them to be old men when we're 21, right? And they do things like, you know, they wear flat caps, or they start playing golf, or, you know, what sort of hobby or what sort of thing have you started doing now? And you've like looked at yourself and thought, fuck me, man, I'm getting old now.
I don't know. I don't think I do any, you know, like old man shit per se. Because when I was younger, you know, 49, when I looked at 49-year-old guys, maybe it was just the people around me. They, you know, people had canes and, you know, back braces, and, you know, they just seemed like they was gnarled, you know, and I looked at that and was like, man, I don't ever want to get that old. But, you know, as I've gotten this, you know, as I've aged, and I feel like, for the most part, you feel like yourself. I think we all agree, like, you really feel like yourself until you do a little something that you used to be able to do. So I notice things like when I'm on the basketball court, or if there is like a little injury, it seems like it takes so long, you know, 2 to 3 weeks, where you would be back on the horse a day later. Now it's just, and some of the injuries you tweak yourself, but you don't feel it till like 3 days later, and you wonder like, well, why the hell is my shoulder? And then you remember a couple of days ago you banged your shoulder. It wasn't even that hard.
Mm.
Or
Well,
sneezing
Louise,
and throwing your back out on a sneeze or something like that.
my mate at work, he nipped into the men's room to take a poo, shall we say, and we're like, "Where's Rob gone? Where's he gone?" And he came out about half an hour later. "I've got to go home, guys. I've put my back out." He had a sneeze while he was having a shit and took his back out, and he had to go home. Louise is just put, I'm 53 this year, and I'd say that I've got older. That as I've got older, the less fucks I give, and I kind of agree with that. Don't you there, Howard?
Yes, as I get older, the less fucks I give. It's just you got less time, so you just got to live life. What Rodney said about recovery. Heck, I injured my shoulder again for 2 weeks throwing a Nerf football to Sam. Literally, I threw it about 3 feet to him, and then my shoulder went out. And I was like, oh well, that's what happens. But recovery is horrible as you get older.
Is there anything that you're doing now, though, Howard? I mean, how old are you? You're 47, aren't you?
45.
45. Shut up, you're not 45.
I am 45.
Oh, hell, I didn't realize you was that old.
Thanks. Oh, wow.
No, is there anything that you're doing at 45 there, Howard, that, you look at yourself and think, fuck me, I must be getting old now because I'm doing this? Is there anything that you can say?
Being a dad. Would ask me 20 years ago, I would have been like, there's no way in hell I would be a dad. But so
about you, Lee, 40 years old, have you seen a change in what you're doing that makes you feel older?
Yeah, I drive a Volkswagen.
You drive a Volkswagen? Is that could you consider that to be an old man's car? Because in my day, it was a Volvo that was an old man's car. And may I just add, that is on my list. The V40 is one of the cars that I'm looking at the moment.
Yeah, I just think you get this weird like obsession with like, I want a car that's going to last a long time. You want some robustness, and Volkswagen represents that, as opposed to like a fucking, I don't know, a Ford Fiesta, or it's just that, I don't know, it's just that dad thing to do, isn't it? And just to double up on that, I've now got a fucking roof box that goes on it, and my missus absolutely hates it.
Well, it's funny because me and my mate George, we was out hiking across the moors about 3 or 4 months ago with the old hiking poles and the backpack on our back. There was a program years ago in the UK called The Fast Show, and there was some characters they called the Valderies. They'd be walking across with a rucksack on their back and the sticks, and it was just like, me and George always used to laugh like crazy. We used to say, if ever that happens to us, just fucking shoot us. And that is exactly what we're doing now. And George was like, I cannot believe that we're one of the Valderies. And now I've started doing metal detecting as well. And it's just like Nikki said, I was on the beach the other day with a metal detector, and she said, you look like a right fucking old git. She says, you turn into like a right old man. And he says, I don't, but like Louise said, I don't give a fuck. I really don't care what people think of me. I'm out having fun, enjoying it. I really, really don't care.
Well, now you see why the guys that we made fun of, why they did it, because they didn't give a shit. You didn't get it back then. You were like, how could you come outside with plaid pants pulled up, you got your socks, and I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going about my business. I'm having the time of my life on that particular day. Now, do you like feed birds and shit? Like, do you guys have birds over there? Because you said you don't got no animals.
Cornish birds.
Yeah,
Cornish birds.
I like watching the tits.
Get you some. Get it? You get some bread and go to the park and sit on a bench and throw breadcrumbs.
There's a cock that lives next door.
Are you a greater tit or a lesser tit sort of fan then, Lee?
No, I prefer the great tits.
Yeah.
I think as we get older, we change our ideals from fashion to function. We look for function, not fashion.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like a fine wine. It comes over time.
One thing I haven't done yet, though, is I haven't gone down the slippers route. One thing that made me look at people as older is when they started wearing slippers. I've not got to the stage where I've got dad slippers yet. And are you guys? I reckon I can look at here now. Lee's nodding his head, so he is definitely a slipper wearer. I can see Rodney is. Yeah, they're not slippers though, man. They're sliders, isn't they?
What's the difference? They make
Do
the
you,
same.
do you not know what slippers are?
They make the same noise, don't they?
No, slippers are like. Lee, have you got your slippers on?
I haven't, no, but I wanted to ask: do you do a slider and sock combo?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Wrong.
And basketball shorts, sliders, socks, basketball shirts, graphic T-shirts.
Wrong. What about you, Howard? Are you a slipper kind of guy? Do you wear slippers? Do you know what slippers are?
I mean, I always thought slippers were like little what you wear around the house, like if you don't want to wear your shoes in the house. No, I just wear socks around the house.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Would you say slippers is an old man thing?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess it has a connotation of an old man. Yeah.
Lee, what age are you going to buy a pipe?
Oh, good question. Don't know. But I was going to ask a question. How many of us have got a pair of socks that we know should have been thrown out a long time ago, but we still wear them?
One pair?
I think it's more of the pants, the boxer shorts that you hold on to, that when you lean over, one of your testicles hangs out through the hole.
Or the string gets coiled up in your hairs. It starts to get a little stringy.
Well, nice.
I don't know about that, but okay.
No, I must admit, I got a pair of I got some socks that when my brother joined the Navy in 2000, he got loads of these Navy issue socks, and he was just throwing at me left, right, and centre. And it's getting to the stage now, 2022, where these socks are 22 years old. That I'm beginning to throw the freaking things out, yeah, they are beginning to get a bit holy. But I mean, my grandparents used to darn socks. Have any of you ever heard of? Did you do grandparents darning any socks or anything like that?
What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Harmony's saying, "I need in here quick." I don't know what she's talking about.
She's saying we're
darning socks is like
she's gonna tell
when
us
on the heel, when the heel goes thin. They basically just chunk it up a bit with cotton or fabric or wool or whatever.
I think
preserve the sock.
I think what Harmony's saying is I was talking about testicles hanging out through your boxer shorts, and I think that she's just said that she needs to get in here quick to sort us out, because there was a gross thing that popped up there, and now she's just saying about shuffling in slippers equals no sexy time. So, well done, Harmony. She needs to get here and see us. But what I want to say, guys, is how do you celebrate your birthday then? We'll start with you there, Rodney. You got there 49 is the new 50. Do you see, when I was younger, I always used to think, my dad, when he was 40 or 50 and he'd come home from work and he'd sit in the armchair and that would be him done for the evening. Whereas I see people that are 40, 50 now still going to the gym, still playing football. I feel that, like you've put there, 49 is the new 59, but I would say it's the other way around, that 59 is the new 49. It's almost like we're 10 years younger kind of thing, don't you think? I mean, you've seen loads more people go into the gym at a younger and lasting longer. How do you celebrate your birthday? Do you see this at all?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that was just a joke that I put up there, being silly, but no, I definitely feel it. And because it's a lot of people my age or older, there's one particular guy that I see at the gym. I want to say he's like 78 years old, but he's in phenomenal shape. He's doing pull-ups and push-ups. And when he shakes your hand and gives you that bro hug, you can feel he's a solid, strong guy. So he's still kicking. So that gives me, like that hope, like, yeah, people are still doing it. And I see a lot of people, and I have conversations with people. Sometimes people, shock me when they tell me, they're in the mid 50s or 60s or sometimes 70s, but people are in the gym, people are walking, people are taking, care of their health. So I definitely feel like I was just messing around with the 49 is the new 59. And as far as celebrating, my thing has been for years, just be around family. You know what I'm saying? If I could just be around family and just, celebrate the fact that I'm here, as far as not pomp and circumstances and, confetti, but just to me, the simple things in life is celebratory enough for me. So that's where I'm at. That's why I was saying I started to embrace it a little bit more of the fun side, and I know that I want to probably do something a little bit more, not outrageous, but just a little bit more boisterous going to my 50th birthday next year.
Louise has just put, I started Tantra. I think that's how I pronounce it. Tantra Hafa. Is that Hafa? That's a cow, isn't it? I can't pronounce Tantra. Oi, come on, help me out here, Howard. How do you pronounce that? I started.
Hey man, you on your own on this one. You started it, so you got to finish it.
Right,
So
okay, I started yoga last year, never too old, and I think that's right, isn't it? I mean, age is just, it's just a word. I feel that, once upon a time we used to look at numbers and we used to see ourselves as the age is the number that we are. I don't feel that's the case anymore. Do you, Howard? I feel that, that youngsters are doing a lot more things as they get older, and they're looking more hip. They're wearing younger clothes. They're doing younger things as they're getting older. I mean, you go to the gym quite a lot. Do you see this all the time as well? Like Rodney there?
sometimes, other times I see guys who are like my age, a little bit older, who, whatever, they just look like me. I guess they have maybe long beard, shaved beard, hair is all unkempt. But I guess it depends. But yeah, I see guys who are older than me that, they look like, oh wow, they look like they're in their 30s or something like that. But yeah.
And what about you, Lee? I mean, do you normally celebrate your birthday? I mean, you said you didn't do there much apart from go for a breakfast there this morning. But looking back on it, when I was 40, was I 40? I went out on a right bash. I had a real big birthday for my 40th. Did you not feel like doing that this year? Then has the way that you celebrate your birthday changed? As you got past 35?
Yeah, sure. It has, definitely. I remember seeing an advert once. It was a car advert. I can't remember exactly what the slogan was, but they basically said, when you've reached perfection, not when there's things to add, but when there's nothing more to take away. And that kind of rings true to me because I've taken away a lot over the years. Like when I was younger, I used to do a lot. Now, I just want to be around the people that I love the most, and do the things that I want to do. And get pleasure out of those few things. And for me, I've taken away all that shit, and what's left is the important things,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, my birthday every year was about going out and getting plastered, finishing work, going out and getting shit-faced, however it may be, and literally from, I think, about 2 or 3 years ago, it just got to a stage where, like you guys, last year I celebrated it with my best mate up on Dartmoor in a tent. This year I'm celebrating it down with my kids and my other half down the caravan. And now I just feel there's more important things in life than getting sloshed. It's spending time with the people around you that you love. But how old do you actually feel then, Rodney? Because, you said you're 49, but how old do you actually feel?
I would say, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm about 35, 40. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's gone downhill since then. I would say that I noticed the change around then, 35, between 35 and 40, physically, some of the things that I used to be able to do, especially for us that are athletic, you notice those things, you're a little bit slower. You can see things you want to do, but you can't quite get there, or you out of breath a little bit more than usual. Or for me, like being able to jump as high as I used to jump, when I'm playing basketball. So I noticed that kind of decline at around 35, and I don't think I don't feel considerably worse or like I went more downhill after 35. So I would say around 35, between 35 and 40, I still feel.
What about you, Howard? How old do you feel?
Honestly, yeah, probably around 45. I jokingly say I feel 95, but I've never been 95, so I don't know how that feels. So just like with Rodney, yeah, there's stuff that I used to be able to do. I used to be able to go work out 6 days a week, balls to the wall, and then no problem. Now, if I do more than like 3 to 4 days a week lifting weights, I'm I can barely move. So yeah,
And
it's the recovery, as we said earlier, the recovery really.
that's it.
I think
That's
as
it.
you get older, you have to focus more on training smarter and not harder.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't say that I feel any older today than what I did 20 years ago. I could still go and play a football match depending on my fitness, because when I was 20, there'd be times where I'd have been eating shit or drinking crap, and I would be unfit. So I don't feel that is an issue. I just feel that sometimes, like Howard was saying there, you just don't recover. I used to be able to go out and drink till 12 o'clock 1 o'clock in the morning, and then get up for 6 o'clock for work and get straight out on it again. Little things like that I can't do. But how old would you say you looked then, Lee? When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see now? We talked earlier on about the receding hairlines, and as you get to a certain age, you start getting brambles for eyebrows. But what do you see when you look in the mirror that you don't like, that make you think you look old?
Nothing, if I'm honest, because I think it's a sense of how you see yourself. If you start saying to yourself, "I look old, I feel old, I don't like my hair, I've got grey in my beard," if you start going down that road, then that's the story that you tell yourself. And I think, Harmony's just sort of made a comment alluded to that anyway. But I look at myself and I see, and I'm not blowing smoke up my own arse, I see a guy in the prime of his life that's ready to take on any fucking challenge, win or lose, but give it his all.
I like that. I like that. I kind of, it's kind of funny as well, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, when you go to the shops or you go into town or you go to the pub or something, you see the guys and the girls that embrace their age and they look freaking good for it, right? And then you see people that don't like the age that they are, that start dyeing their hair, dyeing their eyebrows, having Botox, having all of this shit done, and they look actually older than what they are. Do you see this out in the streets there at all, Rodney?
The Botox, not so much. I do see people who are trying to hold on to their youth, and I've had people question me years ago because my beard's been graying for quite some time. It's like, "Oh, you're gonna color your beard? You're gonna, and it was like, why would I do that? This is, if you know me and you've grown up with me, I'm not fooling you. I'm not, I'm not going to tell you that I'm 30 when you know me since we've been kids. So, and as far as people that don't know me and are, worry about my age, I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? This is what I look like. I'm embracing it. Like I said before, I'm fortunate to be here. See, the things for me that are important is I have a lot of friends and associates and relatives that didn't make it to this age, or didn't get a chance to get a gray hair, or didn't get a chance to see some of the things that I've seen. So, when it comes to age and stuff like that and how I look, it is what it is for me, And I agree with Lee too. I don't feel like there's things that physically I can't do. Like, I don't look at it like I'm only, but for the league getting canceled, I was just about to join the over 30 basketball league, which is going to be guys who are just over 30. And I went and practiced with my team. I'm clearly the oldest guy on the team by 10 years, but I didn't, I didn't feel like, oh man, what am I doing out here with these guys? These guys are better than me. These guys, nah. I'm saying I embrace it. I'm good on that. I don't fear stuff like that because of my age.
I must admit, I mean, I've started getting to that stage now. I'm 45 tomorrow, and I do look in the mirror and I can see that I'm going grey down here a bit more. And like in the last 5 years, my beard's gone from like a gingery color to grey, which is probably a good thing, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? But I am seeing these things now, and like the little marks here, like, from being out in the sun and the crow's feet and all that. And I do look at it and I just think, Mark, come on, you are looking you are beginning to look a bit older now. And I'm not going to lie. Do you know what I mean? I do say to myself at times, oh God, it's catching up. It's catching up. But, to me, there's more important things in life than worry. And I think it's your mental. We're going on about age here now, but I think it's your mental age, isn't it? When you start being mentally inactive, that's when it all starts going downhill. I think, we're talking about retirement. I was going to bring up about what age would you like to retire? And I saw this with my dad. Soon as he gave up going to work, doing the mundane thing, getting up, going to work, coming home, soon as he stopped doing that and he retired and he didn't have a hobby to replace it with or something to do, that's when the mental things started coming in, and that's when the age really started kicking in. Do you see that at all, Howard, and people around you, parents or loved ones or something like that?
Well, I saw the opposite with my dad. He retired, like 20 something years ago. And well, he did the opposite. And he goes to the gym religiously 3 times a week to lift weights. He walks every single day. The Dallas Morning News, I don't even know if they're still in business. They had him in the newspaper because he's 80 years old and he still does it every single day. But he does dancing. He does all these other groups. So he found something to replace it with. So I agree with you there that if you, you got to keep the brain active, and if you just sit around and do nothing, well, then entropy happens. You're just going to go to crap.
What retirement there, Lee? I mean, what sort of age would you like to retire?
If my life goes the way I plan it, I don't ever plan to retire. Because I see myself doing what I love to do, which is coaching, and it may become less frequent, but I don't think I'd ever give it up. I don't think I'd ever stop. You see the actors 80, 90 years old, and they don't retire. They just die, respectfully. But man, I think I love what I do so much. I don't think I could ever see a point where I go, right, that's enough now. Because it's not difficult. I mean, like mentally, it's challenging because you're absorbing other people's burdens, hardships, and I think being a great coach it's a commitment to lifelong learning, which obviously keeps your brain active as well. But it's not like being at the coalface. So a couple of hours once a week, it's not that difficult. So I don't think I'd ever retire if my life goes the way I plan.
What about you, Rodney? Have you got any plans for retirement? What sort of age would you like to retire, or do you not want to retire?
Maybe official retirement age, whatever time it is, I'll revisit it. But I don't have any plans to retire. I have plans to dial it back for sure. It's like I wouldn't. After a certain amount of time, I'm not planning on being in the same role I am. Even if I'm at the same job, I try to transition into more of a relaxing role. And I'm in supervisory role right now, but I would rather fall back and not have the responsibility of worrying about 20 officers, 20 something buildings, 6,000 students, and their vehicles, like overseeing all of that on an 8-hour shift and being the one that's responsible for their safety. I would rather, I would fall back a little bit, but as far as the job, I still would work, I just wouldn't work, 60, 70, 80 hours. You know what I mean? I would just go to a basic 40 hours and, relax and, enjoy my life that way. And then retirement age, which is, I think it's, what is it, like 66, 67 here? How yeah. So then,
around there.
Yeah, around then I'll probably revisit it. You know what I'm saying? But right now I don't have like a particular age.
Sure. Well, I mean, Harmony's having problems trying to get into the room. I've just copied the link there and put it up in the comments page there, Harmony. If you're watching, try clicking on that and getting in. Is it the fact that she's having problems, or is it the fact that she's getting old and she's forgotten how to get in? That's something that I would, it concerns me a little bit. Is losing your mind. I mean, I see it all the time, and it's such a terrible thing. But what I want to just come up about now is discrimination. When you get old, you see people that are discriminated upon because of their age. I mean, anybody want to comment on that at all? Is there any discrimination that they see with elderly people around them that boils their shit?
I haven't seen. I don't know if I've experienced like age discrimination. Definitely not overt, like where I work now. I don't see any. I mean, other than, out and about, like people are like, oh, they're an old fogey or something like that, or old fart, or whatever it is, just
don't take it personal, mate. Don't take it personal. When you say that,
I am an old fart. I am
an
an old fart.
Stand up for you on the bus. Just, don't take it personal, mate.
That's it. I say, well, I may be old, but it still works down there. So I told that to the ladies.
Like, look at Master Yoda. I mean, how long did he live for? There you are.
900 years.
900 years.
What do you say? 900 years.
So it is.
Look good as you, or whatever the term was over.
Would you like to live that long, Rodney? 900 years?
Absolutely not. 900?
Well, imagine what you would see in 900 years' time. If we were still here, how do you think the world would be different in 900 years' time?
I mean, think about what's changed since you were a kid. Think about 8 tracks, and now people don't even use CDs.
Hold on. How old do you think I am? I can't remember 8 tracks. Tapes are the first things. Like 8 tracks.
Stop it.
I don't. My uncle used to have an 8-track in his garage, in his shed.
So you remember it though,
next to his CB radio, but I never actually seen it in the real world. Only in my uncle's. I had to ask what the frickin' hell it was. I didn't actually ever see it in the shops. I couldn't buy an 8-track. Talking about discrimination with old people. Good evening, Harmony.
Hi.
He couldn't get in.
Hello. Good afternoon.
This is the lame club. We don't want cool people in here.
I don't know. I kept sending I was logged in as official 5 deep, and then I would send me a code. I put the code in. It's probably because I haven't gotten on it. I'm on my phone. I'm still out. I just thought I'm going to pull over and at least be in for a few minutes because it's 30 minutes for me to get home.
Cool. What we're talking about age. I mean, you've been watching here, there, Harmony. Other than testicles hanging out of boxer shorts that you call gross and slippers and stuff like that. You've been listening to us. Is there anything that you'd like to chime in about? I'm sure there is.
I mean, yeah, there's, of course. Yeah, as I was listening, I was like, oh my God, this, that, and the other thing. And I can't recap all of it. But I mean, you guys, it's opinions, we all have individual opinions about life and how we age and how we feel and our mindset and how we want to do life. And it's, it's individual to everybody. So there's no right or wrong answers when it comes to that, for sure. But I do believe it's a mindset, and feeling like, unless you've got a literal physical issue or reason why you can't show up, like there's absolutely no reason just because you're older that you can't do what you did when you were 25, unless you have a specific injury or something like that. That's just a storyline that you're telling yourself. Because when I see people like Joe Rogan, who, he chooses to take who knows how many supplements he takes in a day. He chooses to work out and he chooses to push himself. And, that's a choice he's making. And you guys have heard, like, every single choice you're making every day is either lengthening your life or shortening your life. And it's how you want to look at that. It's all on you. It's nobody else's fucking responsibility. How are you going to do your life? Are you going to tell yourself, well, I'm older now and I can't where's my slippers and my old undies? Or are you just going to fucking get out there? Because to me, age is a frame of mind. And definitely, I'm 46 and I feel better than I ever did when I was 26. And that's because the choices that I make in my life every day. So
yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I think you probably do because you're doing better things. But as far as if you were in the same mind frame at 20, and you did the same things you're doing now, it's a marketed difference. Like I know I used to be, how high I used to be able to jump, how fast I used to be. I know what I used to be able to do. And it's a subtle thing. You probably wouldn't notice it because you'll see me moving around, but I notice when I go to get a rebound, the kid springs faster than me, or he jumps 3 times, 1, 2, 3 to my 2. It's like little things like that you may not notice, and it's a subtle thing. So it doesn't discourage me, but it's something that I definitely notice. So the difference though is now, okay, I'm a little heavier. So guess what? I'm going to put my body on him. I'm going to do different things. I'm going to give him a little elbow. I'm going to do different things to give myself an advantage. Where when I was younger, I didn't stretch. I just showed up, throw the ball up and just go. Now, if I don't stretch, it's a wrap. There's no way around it. When I was younger, I just show up and go. So
it's all
well,
about.
I'm running. I can run 5 miles without even batting an eye. Do you think I could do that shit when I was 26? Hell no. I couldn't run when I was 26. Not the lengths that I do now, but it's because I don't smoke every day. I don't drink every day. I'm not eating fried food. I don't eat fast food. I don't eat shit. I don't fuel my body with things that aren't going to serve my performance. So when I was 26, if somebody walked up to me, if Future Harmony walked up to 26-year-old me and said, hey, we're going to go running this afternoon. You're going to go in the woods for a couple hours. I'd be like, fuck you. I'm going to the bar. I wouldn't have been able to show up the way that I do now. And when I look at, and this is no shit, I left the girls in my accountability group a check the other day because, as you know, we leave gratitude every day. And it just hit me for whatever reason. I see a groundhog in my fatty. He's about to cross the street. Godspeed, buddy. Don't get hit by a car. They're going about 70 miles an hour down this road. But it occurred to me that when I first started cleaning, I would do one house a day. It wasn't even an option to do any more than one house a day. This particular day, I hadn't got a lot of sleep the night before for whatever reason. I cleaned 3 houses and I went out for my run and I did 3.5 miles that night. And as I was doing my movement, I felt great. I got there, I was a little tired, but as soon as I started moving, my heart started pumping, my lungs opened up, my body was really happy. But it just occurred to me, and this was just last week, I was like, Harmony, it is about the things that you tell yourself, because again, I would not have done that 20 years ago. It's because that is the expectation I placed on myself, to be a doer, to be productive, to get shit done, to squeeze the fucking juice out of every day. The option of telling yourself, okay, I've worked all day. Now I'm going to go home and I'm going to deserve to sit down and watch Netflix and eat a takeaway. Well, you're looking at watching Netflix and takeaway as a reward. And that's where you're messing up, because you're rewarding yourself with things that aren't fucking serving you. You're telling yourself, oh, I need a cheat day. I've done so good on my diet all week. I need a cheat day. That means Saturday, I'm going to go give myself a big giant piece of cake and a giant pint of beer. Is that a service to your body, though? I mean, it doesn't mean don't do it, but here's my mentality on that. I don't deny myself that shit ever. If I want a piece of cake in the middle of the day, it's happening, son, even if it's Monday. If I want a steak on a Friday night, I'm eating a steak. And if I want mashed potatoes with all the real butter, I'm eating it. It's just a daily, it's not about restriction and rules, and and for a lot of people that works. But if you are telling yourself certain things about anything, especially when it comes to your age, and you're following the fucking community narrative that everybody else is doing around you, that's your only mistake. That you get to design your life the way you want to fucking design your life. And if for you getting up and running 10 miles in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning is something that you want to do, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60, you can do that. It's all about what you're telling yourself you can do. And if you're looking at it like, oh, I've had a week, it's been 40 hours, I can't wait till Friday, I deserve this rest, I'm just going to lay in an air-conditioned house on the couch, I'm not going to fucking move until Monday morning. Is that a service, or is that serving your longevity or serving your quality of life, like in a negative way?
Sorry, Harmony, carry on.
No, go. I can get on a real podium about this, because I'm so sick of people telling themselves mindset about their life because of what Tom, Dick, and Harry are doing down the road, or what society tells us 49 is looking like, 50 looks like this, 70 looks like that. No, fuck you. It looks like what I want it to look like,
One thing I have noticed about myself is that When I was younger, I would be like at work and I'd be like, oh, thank fuck it's Friday. Right. I love every single freaking day now. I really, really do. And I know a lot of us in the group have we've come in on our Voxer group and we'd be like, is it, oh, fucking hell, it's Friday today, and you've forgotten when you start enjoying life and you start not paying attention to what day of the week it is. And, I know a lot of people struggle with going to work and being in a job that they don't enjoy. But if that's the case, just find a way of getting out of it, because you're only here once in a lifetime. And if you're doing a job that you hate, it's only going to make you feel older and more stressed and make you look more haggard. Once you start enjoying what you're doing in life, it makes the chore more enjoyable, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Look how much we all look forward to Monday now. Because why? Because it's not just a Monday. We've designed it to end as a day we meet with 4 other people that we each love and we've got a connection with, and we have a conversation. We shoot the shit for an hour. That makes me look forward to Monday.
But I do agree with what Rodney was saying there just a minute ago, though, is that when you get older, I think Lee wants to go now. Do you want to go there, Lee?
Happy birthday.
He's
Happy
40.
birthday. Enjoy your day.
Happy birthday, Lee.
I had hats and everything at home. I was like, I couldn't make it home in time. I had balloons and I was like, oh, those just going to have to come on next Monday.
What's the last comment, Lee? What did you want to say before you rock out here?
I'm going to quote my current favorite song. To anybody listening, I challenge you to live all out fucking life.
Amen.
Amen.
Fortune cookie right there, man. Put that fortune.
You gotta knock the mic over, Lee.
Yeah, fuck.
Mic drop.
No, fuck off.
I'll see you all next week.
Fuck off.
Happy birthday, sir.
There he's gone. He's gone. No, what I was going to say there is I do agree with what Rodney was saying, is that when you get older, right, it's a mental thing. You do have to learn to adapt. You look at Mike Tyson, for instance, right? Mike Tyson is an amazing human being. He is, you watch him punching the bags, but he will put his hands up and say that I can still punch as hard as what I used to. I still consider myself to be as quick as what I used to be. But freaking hell, what you didn't realize is when I was kicking that bag the other day when I was being filmed, it took me 2 weeks to recover from it. And I think that, yes, you still can run the miles that you can do. You can still play 90 minutes of football. You can still run around a basketball court, etc., etc. But you do have to be respectful of your, shall I say, age or your body or your ability. You do have to be respectful of that. You can't go around thinking that, oh, I can do the same as what I did when I was 20, because you're asking for trouble then, I think.
Yeah, it's proper training, right? Like Rodney and I'm like sure Rodney and Howard both would say it's proper training.
Yeah, and it's knowing your body too. The reason why you're able to do more now is because, like you said, you were gonna get drink and smoke. The difference for me is that I don't, I drink a little bit, but I used to drink and smoke every day back. Smoke weed every day back then, and I still could do that. Yeah, and I still could do that. I still could go and play ball. I still could do all those things high and drunk. You know what I mean? So, and still be functional and still look decent out there. Now, I probably couldn't, and I know I couldn't do that now because the recovery, and nor would I want to. I can't be on my ass for 3 or 4 days recovering, and I don't have that. I know I don't have that snapback, but in certain ways I'm better than I was. But it's, it's here, your thought process. You're not fully thinking things out. But we needed you to come up here and kick some ass, though, because.
Well, you guys are all so capable. That's the thing. Like, look at I had an ankle injury in my left ankle. It's always been weak, I think, for, over the last 10 years, probably. And I guess it's been a year ago, I twisted it when I hit some gravel running around a corner, and it hurt like a son of a bitch. So I got a brace, one of those really tight ones that goes around your ankle, and I wear it literally every time I go run, even though it came up in my memories that I got that injury. And I bounced back after about 3 days. I started walking. But even though it's been a year, I still wear that brace just to be, I'm really aware of it and just really gingerly if I'm coming around a corner, or, I don't squat a lot, because if I'm squatting, even to clean a house or something, and I stand back up, I can feel that left ankle is like, you shouldn't have put all that weight on me.
One question I was going to ask you, Harmony, we'll start off with you, and I want you to be honest here now.
Okay.
Have you got to that age in your life where when you bend down or lay down and get up, you always automatically do that? Oh, that noise like old people used to do. You'd see them. I'd be on the floor with my kids, and then as I'm getting up, I'm going, "Oh, I'll be back." Do you do that at all? Make that noise?
I'm sure there are times I'm doing it and I just don't know I am because I'm alone, but off of memory, no, but I'm going to say probably yes.
Rodney's nodding his head. He's done it. He's doing it.
I think what it is with Harmony is that, like you said, if you're not around somebody, but it's the look you get when you do it, because somebody's looking like, "Are you all right?" And you're like, "No, I'm just standing up. What's the problem?" You say, "I sound like, I just got hit in the head with a bat." Like,
well, you know how your back can give out on you? Like if you bend over and you're bending over weird or too long, or you're standing in a weird position doing dishes or something like that, and then you go to turn and your lower back is like, bitch, what did you, hello?
That happened to me today.
I have that. I've had that for probably my entire adult life because of I believe, not trying to be dirty, but I believe it's because I have huge boobs. And I've been carrying around these boobs and doing very laborious jobs since I was old enough to remember. So waitressing, bartending, cleaning houses, I've never really for any length of time had a desk job. So I feel like my back is like really representative of the weight that it's been carrying around for 46 years.
That's the same excuse that I'm going to use. I think it's to do with my boobs as well. The reason, but I was doing some furniture, rubbing some furniture down, and I'm leaning down and rubbing this bit of furniture, and I'm like, oh, like that. The bloke opposite, he's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Oh, so I just can't do this anymore. Getting too old," and we're laughing like crazy. And it's like when you're on the floor and you do it, and you're playing with your kids, and you get up, and you're like, "Oh." My youngest, when he was a baby, he went through that stage where every time he'd get up, he didn't know that it was an old age thing. He thought that was what you do. So he was getting up and he was only like a year old, kids mimic you, isn't it?
Oh, that's so cute. Have you guys seen the video? It was trending, I want to say like 5 years ago, where you are sitting down on the floor. I'm going to have to find the video and share it. And I'll even do it on camera next Monday if you want me to. You have to get up. How you get up off of the floor from this position determines your longevity. Do you guys remember that video? You're not allowed to use your hands. So you're on the ground.
I can do that.
You remember it, Howard?
I don't remember, but I've heard that before. Like doctors can use that to determine like how feeble you are. If you can get up without using your hands, then it's a marker.
Very interesting. I'll share it with you in the group, and then I'll try to do it on camera next Monday.
If you sit on the floor and you cross your legs, can you get up off the floor cross-legged without using your hands?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I've never tried that. I don't.
Yeah, and like when you lay
I'll send the video to y'all. You can watch it. I'm curious to see what you guys can do.
I'm in trouble.
I just want to finish up before we shut down here. I was listening to your podcast there this afternoon there, Harmony, the Follow Forward podcast, and you was talking about something I found really interesting. And you was talking about people that are introverts and people that are extroverts. And I always consider myself to be an extrovert, right? Where I'm coming from here now is as you've got older, have you changed from an introvert to an extrovert or vice versa? And just tell the group what you was talking about that, because I found that really interesting.
Well, we clarified it with Louise's help and with Marta's help, she's our resident Googler over there, just newsflash. She's the Follow Forward resident Googler now too. And she needs to start coming on the Bliss Broker. I'll just send her presents every month or via PayPal. Because she's so helpful. But I guess now I've learned I'm an ambivert. So depending on what state of mind I'm in, I can be and thrive extroverted or introverted. But I still go back to the fact that it's where your cup is, it's where your quota's booted back up. It's where your cup is filled. And for me, I'm very extroverted, and I can walk into a crowd of people. I can chit chat. I'm not shy. Like I can carry on a conversation with anybody. But I get very peopled out, and I get very like anti, and I get very like if I see my neighbor in the yard and I need to go check my mail, I won't go outside until it gets dark. Or if I'm in a grocery store, I even said this on the podcast, if I'm in a grocery store and I see somebody that I know that is somebody that where they're going to want to have small talk with me about some bullshit, I will put my phone to my ear and pretend like I'm talking and say, oh, sorry. Because I don't, if I'm in the mood and I'm feeling very social, that's another thing. But I do get rebooted when I'm alone. Like I get to a point where in order to get kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now. I get where I feel full again when I'm by myself. So for me, I am labeled technically an extroverted introvert. So if you're somebody that gets a high vibration and you get really happy and positive and full and excited, the more people you're around, you're an extrovert. And if you get to a point where you're like, not that we all can't be social and anti, we all have that ability depending on our mood and our state of mind and all that kind of stuff. But what would you say you are, Mark? Do you feel more?
It's funny, and the reason why I brought this up is because I was listening to you talking about this, and I always considered myself to be an extrovert, right? But I felt myself to be exactly the same as you. I will go out and I'll have a laugh and I'll have a joke and I'll mingle with people, all of the above. But I also love to spend some quality time with myself, recharging myself by myself, being alone in a room by myself, listening to some music. I need that time. And the reason why I was bringing this up is because do you feel over your years of maturity that things have changed for you? Because once upon a time, I would be able to be 100% an extrovert, be out there all the time, mingling, laughing, joking, being out there all the time. Whereas I'm not like that anymore. So the introvert extrovert thing, does that change as you get older? And that's why I brought this up on this conversation.
I think for a lot of people it does. For me, no. I've always been kind of not reclusive, but I've always kept to myself. I was an only child, and my mom said that I played a lot really well by myself, even from the time that I was really little. Like I didn't need engagement constantly. And if I was at school, I would go play with a group or I would go swing by myself. Like I didn't need for example, if you listen to that entire episode, Alicia talks about it. She will get anxious if too much time goes by and she's not around people. For me, that doesn't happen. I can go, I'll realize that it'll be hours and hours and hours will go by and my mouth hasn't opened. Like I haven't talked to anybody but Maribel, and I'm like, ooh, it's weird. Like I haven't said anything. I think that's why I fucking create so many TikToks, because it's engaging people. But I've always been in a space where I needed to be alone with thoughts. And then when I was ready to go out and be around people, I could do that.
I'm exactly the same as you. I've always considered myself to be an extrovert, but after listening to your podcast there today, and please head over there and check that one out, Folly Forward podcast, I consider myself now to be exactly the same as you. So, because I love doing what we're doing here now on multiple levels, doing lots of podcasts, but I will come off the podcast and I'll be like, right, I don't want to speak to anybody. I want to just sit, chill, relax. I can go a whole, people have said to me, could you go to a music festival by yourself? And I'm like, yeah. And I could go to a music festival by myself and not talk to anybody whatsoever for the whole time. So that's not an extrovert. And that listening to what you were saying there has made me change my opinion. So Howard and Rodney, Mark is a pervert. I don't know what he's fucking implying there, to be honest with you. That's slanderous. You've got to prove this.
It took long enough for you to see that. Wasting my talents over here. Jeez.
What was you implementing? Why am I a pervert?
She's an ambivert and you're a pervert.
Right, okay, fair enough. And I've switched on now. What are you then, mate? Are you an extrovert or an introvert?
I like that idea of not, I enjoy people, but after a certain time, like you said, when it gets too peoply, I want to check out. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I go somewhere with the intention of having a good time. Then after about an hour, I'm like, okay, this is pretty much what I pretty much came in for. I'm gonna, go.
Uh,
And I don't mind being alone. I don't mind being to myself. I think one of the things that you know, the content creation too, like you said, like I love doing this. I love talking to people, but if we didn't do it on one particular Monday, I would find something else to do, and it wouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't be like, oh, we have to have it.
So have you always been like that then, or have you changed with your age?
I think yeah, I would say I changed with my age. I think, part of it is my upbringing and being away from people at certain times and not seeing people at certain times for certain reasons, that I got used to being alone and not having to be around people. Like I have really good friends and family members that we don't talk all the time, but if I called them after 3 months, we pick up like we never left,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's not
Same.
a problem.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
interesting because I mean, Nikki goes on about how I describe mates and best mates. Now, George is my best mate. He is my best mate, and I always say, "Oh yeah, but Ali's my best." Nikki goes, "But you haven't seen Ali for like 2 years." He goes, "Yeah, but he's still one of my best mates. I can still see him tomorrow and talk to him as if I spoke to him yesterday. I've got mates that I consider." She says they're not mates; they're acquaintances. I said, "No, they're not." Mates, you can just not see them for years and just chill with them. And what about you, Howard? Are you an introvert or an extrovert or a pervert? Well, actually, we don't need to ask this question, do we?
Well, some have called me a pervert. I get, yeah, just like what everybody says. I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I guess I am. A little bit of both. I mean, there are times where I don't want to be around anybody. I just want to be alone with my thoughts, especially at the trails. That's one place where I like to go, where I want to be alone.
Yeah.
Other than the cougars and the big ass spiders trying to eat me
And
stuff.
not cougars like me, like four-legged cougars.
Four-legged cougars, although, I've seen some two-legged cougars out there as well.
But they run away from you, not towards you.
Correct. Yeah. All the ladies run away from me. That's just how it is.
Also, go, carry on, man. Carry on, Spartus.
But I was going to say, there's times where I'm like at a get together, and like I've been to get togethers with my wife's friends, and they speak nothing but Spanish. And I do my best. I do my best to try to, butt in there when I can understand, like, oh, I think they're saying something I might be interested in. And I do my best to get in there and then talk. And then I've had people tell me, it's like, you always make like friends every time you go somewhere. You always meet like a stranger and become friends with a stranger. And it's like, I think a lot of it is due to, I will listen to people. And I think people really appreciate someone that actually listens to them, because I'll look them in the eye and actually listen to what they have to say, instead of just being like, oh, that's nice. And when you're not the other.
That's a good quality to have, to be able to meet people. Now, this is not to be confused with being shy. Like, are any of you in here shy?
I can be.
How?
But then
Well, give me an example where you would be shy.
Occasionally around women.
Oh, so you're easily threatened by women. Probably the hotter they are, the more you're threatened by them.
I wouldn't. No, I'm not. Just certain women, and off the top of my head, I can't say what it is, but I know that I have been in a situation where I've been a bit shy, a little bit, like, especially like I've always been one of these people that I can go into a room, and if I've never met you before, I'll make friends and I will chat to them. I find it easy to chat to them, like as if I've known them for 20, 30 years. It wouldn't really bother me whatsoever. But there are some certain people that I'm shy around, and I can't tell you who they are at this moment in time. But there are occasions where I'll be like, oh, I don't know what to say. I'm feeling quite shy, and it's, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't pick that up from you, but I obviously am not around you a lot other than online. So that's the last thing I would label you as shy.
No, I'm not always shy. Just I am occasionally shy around certain people.
Yeah.
I can't really say anything more than that.
MB shy, whatever that is. MB shy.
Is it like if the person is assertive, like masculine energied women?
I think it's possibly a time when somebody is probably showing the same attributes as me, perhaps. I don't know, because I'm unusual in my ways. When somebody comes at me, like a mirror image, I'm like a little bit like, well, how do I cope with this? Because I don't normally see this. And as a puff of smoke, she disappears.
I think some of that, regards to being shy, is and I don't know if maybe this may make sense to you or not, but listening to the people, like, I've been around very extremely attractive women, and I've never felt like I had a problem, talking to them and stuff like that. But a lot of that goes to, I ask them about themselves, and then who doesn't like to talk about themselves? So then that you strike up a conversation, then you talk, and then you find after a minute, you're like, oh, here I am just listening, talking with this very attractive woman. But yeah, I've never had a problem with it. At least as far as I remember, I haven't had a problem talking to really attractive women.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we're about done, guys, to be honest with you. It's been a great episode. Thank you very much for the people that's come in the room and listened and been part of the conversation. It's really, really awesome. If you would like to get involved a little bit more, please drop us an email. For the people that's new for the first time, right, on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Please share the link and tell the people about, the official 5 Deep. And we want to hear from you guys. Drop us an email, official5deep@gmail.com. We want to know what you want us to talk about. What conversation would you like us to talk about next week? And what sort of things would you like us to talk about? And would you like to find out a little bit more about us? Ask us some questions, ping us across some questions, because it's Howard's normally got a question to ask the world. I don't know have you got a question to ask the world for the end of this conversation tonight, Howard, or not?
Let me see. What's a good question? Oh, if you were a building, if you could be any building, what building would you be?
What a fucking what sort of question is that? If you could
it's no different than what chocolate bar would you be, or what rapper would you be? I mean, I guess that's kind of a cool question. And what car would we be? I mean, I'm the mystery machine, so we know that one.
Okay, well, people of Earth, right? Answer the question. Drop us an email, official5deep@gmail.com. If you could be a building, right? What building would you be? Thank you for joining us. Harmony's phone's overheated and she's disappeared, so she says cherry pops. Rodney, have a fantastic remains of the day, mate, there. And, you don't look a day over 49 at all, man. You look amazing. Howard, keep on thinking of these amazing questions. You bring them all to the table. You're an amazing human being. And, guys, thank you very much for being part of this conversation. Until next week.
Important. Anybody have any questions? Like Mark said, please hit us up with those, because we are here. We do this for you all out there. This is for the benefit. So please ask us questions. Ask us. I don't know. Don't ask me about women. I don't know. So I guess we'll skip. I'll skip that. I'll be quiet on that topic. So
have a great week, you people at home, and stay safe, stay classy. And until next week, cheers and gone.